G'day everyone, Tim from vMix here, and in this video series we're taking a look at vMix outputs. And in this particular video we're having a look at how you can use NDI video outputs. There are a lot of different ways that you can output video from vMix, and each have a different method and purpose. Today we're going to look at how you can output video over the local network using NDI. And we'll take a look at some of the different ways that you might be able to use this in a video production. NDI stands for Network Device Interface, and it's a method to transport video over the local network. vMix has supported NDI from day one, so we've had extensive integration for many years now. We've had bidirectional support since the very beginning, but today we're just going to be looking at the output functionality of NDI. If you are unfamiliar with NDI, check out some of our videos on NDI, or head to newtek.com/NDI or vmix.com/NDI. You'll be able to check out some of the specs and what sort of network you need to set up in order to use NDI. Now in vMix, not only can you send your program feed out, you can also send individual cameras, video calls, audio inputs, and audio outputs. If you have vMix 4K or vMix Pro, you can also create a number of multiple NDI outputs of your choice. All right, so let's take a look at setting up your NDI outputs. Now to access this, you can go to the external down here, click the little gear next to it, and then go to Output/NDI settings, or you can go to the settings menu and then go to Outputs and NDI. It's both the same location. Now in order to configure your NDI outputs, you can do this from this section here where you can see output and then 4 numbers down there. Now if you have vMix HD or lower, you only see the ability to have 1 there. So along the top here, you'll see output number 1. Then you can see the source. Now your first output is always going to be tied to the record, stream, and external. So for the source, you're going to want to leave that as output. We do get emails from time to time where people say, why am I only streaming my preview? That's because they've gone into this menu and changed this to preview or multi-view or something like that. So you want to leave that to output. Now next to that, you can choose whether you want the output number 1 to be seen on the network via NDI. So if you want to do that, you can just click this NDI on button here. Then next to that, you can access the NDI settings. So these settings are independent of your record, stream, and external. So for example, if you didn't want to use the master audio, like you might be using in your stream, you could change it to a different audio bus. So for example, I might want to use bus A for my audio on my NDI output. So if I've got a secondary language that I want to use or different audio, I could set that up here. Now I can also choose what sort of alpha I'm going to send if I need to use a particular type of alpha channel. And then for resolution, I can choose to lower the resolution. Say if I've got a 1080 production, but I only want to send out 720 NDI, I can select that here, for example. And then I can click OK. Now after that, you can see the overlays section. So the overlays section allows you to turn on and off particular overlays for NDI. Now, because the first output is going to be tied in with the record, stream, and external, I would leave all of your overlays on. Now, if you have vMix Pro or 4K, you have a little bit more freedom with 3 additional outputs that you have here in vMix. Now, these outputs can be used for a number of different things, not just NDI. So you can use them for, say, recording one of these outputs in vMix, like I'm currently doing with input 1 here. But if you want to set these up for NDI, I'll show you how to do that right now. So I'm going to go to number 2 here, and then I can choose, let's say I want to select the output here. I'll turn it on so it's available via NDI. I can go in here, change any settings that I need. And then what I might do is turn off all of the overlays. So now on my second output, it's available now via NDI, and it's going to be a clean feed because I've turned off all of my overlays. So that's something that you could use if you want to record a clean feed, either locally by using the inbuilt recorder in vMix or sending it out via NDI. Now the third option, I might choose to send out my preview or my multi-view. So I can send out my multi-view by turning this on here, and it's going to be available and you can monitor it on the local network. I can change any settings here. So yeah, that's a way of creating your multi-view or your preview that's available on the local network. And finally, for this fourth output, I've already got this set up. So I've already got it set to input 1. So if I wanted to make that available on the network, I can just turn this on here, and then I can change any settings that I like. So that's how you can set up those 4 outputs if you've got vMix Pro or 4K. You can configure them any way you like using NDI. If you want to send that out, you can change the settings. So that's how you set up those NDI outputs. Okay, so all editions of vMix also allow you to send out individual inputs from vMix. So underneath that, you'll see additional NDI outputs. So you're able to send out cameras, calls, audio inputs, and you can also send out audio outputs. So if I want to use those, I can turn them on here. And you might be wondering, well, what do you mean by audio outputs? Well, audio outputs, I mean your different audio buses. So if we wanted to send out the master, the headphones, bus A, bus B, or any bus you've got set up, you can turn that on to send that out via NDI. So one thing to keep in mind, when your NDI outputs are all on, it's potentially going to use your CPU resources. If you have them all on, it means that other computers on the local network can access your NDI sources. So if nobody on the network needs to use them, I would definitely turn them all off. So I'm just going to leave these on for now because I'm going to show you how I'm going to input them. But I would recommend turning them off if you're not using them. Now you might be wondering, well, what are the benefits of sending out these outputs over the network? Well, it means that you can transport and use the audio and video without any capture gear. You can send out your video out to other productions, send it to another computer for recording and streaming, use it for displaying your content, or even previewing and using the multi-view. For example, I have vMix running on this laptop. So now in order to add one of those outputs, I just go into the Add Input menu in vMix here, and then go to NDI, and then I can select one of these outputs. For example, this one here, set up the multi-view, turn off the audio. So I've set up the multi-view here. As you can see, it's now available to use on the network in vMix. You know, I can change it. I can go ahead and make changes to this by right-clicking it. I could select a different output, which is going to be my desktop capture. So I can go through and add any of the NDI inputs to my vMix production. Another thing that you can use is the NewTek Studio Monitor. So they've made a free application that can be installed onto a device so that you can monitor any of the NDI sources available on the local network. So I can select this one here, I can go into the settings, and then I can change it to something else. So I could change it to this multi-view here. So yeah, that's a really good option if you wanted to monitor preview, program, or any other input that you have in vMix that you're sending out via NDI. Just load it up on a computer that's connected to the local network and start displaying it. If you do have any questions about vMix or using the NDI outputs, feel free to drop us an email via the support page on vmix.com. It's really hard answering technical questions on YouTube without knowing your setup and your production situation. If you do have a technical question, we'll probably just reply with something like, could you please send us an email so we can take a look at your production setup? Thanks a bunch. So thanks for watching this video. There's going to be links in the description that were mentioned in this video for downloads for like the studio monitor or to check out more information about NDI. So thanks, and we'll stream you later.
Thanks for watching. Click to watch another exciting vMix video or head to vmix.com for a free 60-day trial. See you later.